The course of history is often seen as a grand march of armies and empires, but sometimes its path is altered not by a battle, but by a simple mistake, a wrong turn. In the winter of 1940, the fate of millions would hinge on a single aircraft lost in the fog. By January 1940, Europe was in a state of surreal calm. After the invasion of Poland, Britain and France had declared war on Germany, but the Western Front was quiet. This period became known as the Phony War. Armies faced each other across fortified borders, waiting for the inevitable storm. Caught in the middle was Belgium. Fiercely protective of its neutrality, it stood as a buffer state, hoping to avoid the carnage of the last war. But its strategic position made it a tempting pathway for any German advance into France. On the morning of January 10th, a German Messerschmitt Bf 108 Typhoon took off from an airfield near Münster. The weather was poor, with a thick, freezing fog. Against regulations, the pilot, Major Erich Hoenmans, decided to press on. On board were 2 Luftwaffe officers. Hoenmans, an experienced pilot, was at the controls. His passenger was Major Helmut Rheinberger, a staff officer with an urgent appointment in Cologne. Rheinberger was carrying a leather briefcase. Tucked inside were documents of unimaginable importance: the operational plans for Fall Gelb, or Case Yellow, Germany's imminent full-scale invasion of France and the Low Countries. He was meant to be on a train, but after missing it, he persuaded his friend Hoenmans to fly him. Flying in such conditions was treacherous. The Typhoon was not equipped for instrument flight. Hoenmans was navigating by dead reckoning, relying on his compass and visual landmarks. But in the disorienting whiteout, he quickly lost his bearings. A strong wind began pushing the small plane westward, far from its intended route. The plane drifted silently, unknowingly, across an international border. When a break in the clouds revealed a river below, Hoenmans mistakenly identified it as the Rhine. It was, in fact, the Meuse, deep inside Belgian territory. Believing he was still in Germany, he followed it, becoming more lost. Then the engine sputtered and died. The fuel tank was empty. Moments later, the aircraft crash-landed in a field near Wüst in the Belgian province of Limburg. The impact was jarring but survivable. The 2 German officers stumbled out of the wreckage, shaken but largely unharmed, into the misty quiet of a foreign field. They were in neutral Belgium. Their presence did not go unnoticed. Local farmhands had witnessed the crash and alerted the authorities. Soon, 2 Belgian border guards, Captain Arthur Rodrique and Sergeant Franz Habetz, approached the wreckage cautiously. As the soldiers drew near, Rheinberger's panic set in. He knew the catastrophic implications of his capture with the invasion plans. He desperately tried to destroy the documents, first attempting to stuff them into a small stove, then trying to set them ablaze with borrowed matches, but Captain Rodrique was too quick. He snatched the smouldering papers from Rheinberger's hands. Though partially burned, the documents were largely intact. Inside the briefcase, the Belgians discovered something extraordinary: detailed, top-secret plans for Germany's invasion of Western Europe. The captured documents laid bare the heart of the German strategy. There were maps showing the main thrust through central Belgium, bypassing the formidable Maginot Line, and detailed timelines for airborne assaults. The invasion was scheduled to begin in just a few days. The Belgian intelligence service acted swiftly, sharing the information with their British and French counterparts. The plans were sent to Allied High Command, where they were met with a mixture of shock and skepticism. Was this a genuine windfall or an elaborate German deception? In Berlin, Hitler was enraged. News of the crash sent shockwaves through the German High Command. The blunder had exposed their entire strategy. The element of surprise, so crucial to the Blitzkrieg concept, was lost. The invasion, planned for January 17th, was postponed. Germany was forced to abandon its compromise strategy and go back to the drawing board. The original Case Yellow was dead. This accidental leak forced a complete strategic rethink, one that would lead to an even more audacious plan. One navigational mistake, born of fog and a broken compass, had unraveled a war plan meant to remain secret until the first tanks crossed the border. The Mechelen incident, as it came to be known, stands as a stark reminder of the role of chance in conflict. It proves that history doesn't always change because of a great battle or a political decree. Sometimes it changes simply because a plane flew the wrong way.